today with another recipe for you. Today we'll be making a minty chocolate cookie, kind of like the Thin Mint cookie the Girl Scouts sell. So if you like Thin Mints, you'll love this cookie. So we're going to start by putting 1 1/4 cups of almond flour in a mixing bowl. And I'm going to use my stand mixer at the end, so I'm using the bowl for that, but if you have a hand mixer, you could use that as well. And to the almond flour, we will add a 1/2 cup of coconut flour, 1/4 cup of cocoa, 2 tablespoons of arrowroot flour, and 1/4 teaspoon of salt. And then we're just going to take the whisk and whisk this together to blend it a bit. All blended. You can see in there? I'm not sure you can see in there. Okay, and I'm just going to stick it on my stand mixer. It's out of my way, and I can put the little paddle on there. Now I'm going to take another bowl, and I have 1 large egg in it. And to this bowl, I will add my preferred sweetener, which is 1/3 cup of monk fruit. If you've seen any of my cooking videos, you know that's what I like to use. I am also adding 3 tablespoons of water and a 1/2 teaspoon of pure peppermint extract. And then we're just going to whisk this together as well. And I know I've said this many times, I prefer the monk fruit. It is a 0-calorie sweetener. It will not affect your sugar. If you do not care for monk fruit for whatever reason, you could certainly opt to substitute something, and I would recommend something other than a regular white sugar. You could try coconut sugar, or you could try honey or maple syrup. If you did honey or maple syrup, you could leave out the water and use a little bit extra of the honey or maple syrup, so maybe, you know, close to a 1/2 cup or so. So this is whisked together nicely, and we are going to add it to the dry ingredients. And we're just going to turn the mixer on and blend it up. So this is what it looks like currently, if you can see that there. And we're not done yet, but this is what we have so far. Now we are going to put it back on the mixer, and we are going to take 1/4 cup of melted coconut oil, and we're going to slowly drizzle the coconut oil in while the mixer is running on low speed. Okay, this is all blended together. Take my spatula and show you what we've got here. You can see the dough now that the oil's been added to it. It is a little, it kind of is firm, holds together, kind of like a moldable kind of a dough. And we are going to take a piece of parchment paper and turn the dough onto the parchment paper. And then we are just going to form it into a log and put it in the freezer to chill. And you want to chill it about a couple of hours. You want it to be firm enough so that you'll be able to slice it. And we'll do like a slice and bake cookie. So simple, so easy. And I usually try to make my log shape about 2 inches in diameter or so, and however long that ends up being. Okay, so I have a log here, and I am just going to put it in the freezer for a couple of hours, maybe even overnight, and we will continue making the cookies after the dough is chilled. So I've pulled the dough out of the freezer. It's a nice firm log, and now we're going to slice it and put it on our cookie sheet and bake it. I've got the oven preheated to 350 degrees, and I have a stoneware pan ready to go lined with parchment paper. And we're just gonna slice through that a little bit. I'll slice another one. Bring it closer to the camera for you to see. Okay, and just continue slicing until you fill your cookie tray. You don't need to space them very far apart. They're not going to spread on the cookie sheet while they're baking. We'll bake them at 350 degrees for about 15 minutes on my stoneware pan. If you're using a metal cookie tray, then you would probably want to bake them about 10 to 12 minutes. You want to bake them till they're firm to the touch. And once we get them all baked, we'll dip them in some chocolate. The timer has gone off. Let's take a look and see how the cookies are doing. Oh, they don't look much different than they went in, but they're firm to the touch now. And we can let them cool. I'm going to put them on a cooling rack while I bake the rest of the cookies. And when they are all cool, we will dip them in chocolate. The cookies are all cooling on my rack and they feel pretty good, so I am going to start melting the chocolate. So you want to use a double boiler if you have one, or in my case I'm going to use a small pan and I'm going to sit a bowl on top of the pan. So I have about 1 inch of water in my pan, and I am just going to turn the burner on, and we want to have a gentle simmer going. So I have it up a little higher than I need it to begin with, and once it's warm, I'll turn it down. I've started by putting 1.5 cups of chocolate chips into my bowl. My chocolate chips are stevia sweetened, so that is my preference. It may not necessarily be your preference, but it certainly would be worth trying and seeing how you like them, and reduce your sugar intake. And I am then throwing in 1/2 cup of a stevia sweetened candy bar that I've chopped into pieces. The reason I've done that is the chocolate chips are not as dark as I prefer, but if you don't mind not a real dark chocolate, you could do all the chocolate chips. My chocolate chips, I believe, were 55% cocoa, and my candy bar is 85% cocoa, and it is also stevia sweetened. And I'm just going to add that to the chocolate chips. And then I have 2 teaspoons of peppermint extract, pure peppermint extract. I'm just going to add that there. And I'm just going to stir every now and then as it melts. And once it's melted, we will dip our cookies in there. And then you will chill your cookies. And you can chill them on the counter, or if you're in a hurry, you could chill them in the fridge. I even just reuse the parchment paper that I baked the cookies on, and I'll just dip them and put them back on the cookie sheet once the cookie sheet is also cool. And depending how thick or thin you've sliced your cookies will depend how many you get. I think I've got about 50 cookies or so that came out of this batch. I didn't count them, but I know about how many were on the cookie tray. So yeah, I guess that's about it. So let's cook our chocolate and I'll get back and show you how it looks when it's all done. The chocolate is all done melting. You can see it's nice and smooth and drippy. So now we're going to take 2 forks and we're going to dip our cookies into the chocolate and roll them around a little bit. And I kind of just shake them to get a lot of the excess off. But if you want real chocolatey cookies, I guess you wouldn't have to. And then I just put it onto the parchment lined cookie sheet. And I'm going to fill the cookie sheet and I'll pop it in the refrigerator so that I can show you what it looks like. And you don't have to wait too long, and neither do I. So I pulled them out of the fridge, and I've got one here that looks like it's pretty cool and able to be eaten. So I'll take a bite. Minty, chocolatey. I like it, and I hope you do too. And I'll catch you next time in another one of our gluten-free videos. Have a great day.